Well, I bought a computer. I had a good friend of mine give me 3 laptop computers. And his only stipulation was if I get rid of them, I have to wipe the hard drive. And I no longer have any of them. So I get all 3 of them. One is this gigantic laptop that is, it's gigantic, what do I call it? Alienware. It's one of those huge ones that they made with a real video card in it. I fought with that thing and fought with that thing and fought with that thing, and I could not get the video card to work with a shit in Linux. And I finally just gave up on it and pulled the hard drive out of it. I'm using the hard drive on that one because it was a black something or other hard drive. And I'm using it as a backup for the laptop that I just purchased. You refurbished. And the other one was there were 2 Dells, 2 regular Dells. One was an old XPS model that had a line going up the screen and only booted about every 3rd time you hit the power button. And it was only 32 bits, so I ended up pulling the hard drive out of it and throwing it away just because I couldn't really deal with that. The 3rd one was awesome. Okay, it was a little Dell, and it had 4 gigs of RAM, a decent little processor. It had a good screen. It had a fair screen. It was like the $600 special from Dell, right? The perfect little throw down laptop. When you buy somebody a laptop, that's the one you get, right? Perfect laptop, worked great. Everything on it worked in Linux. I was in heaven, right? So I destroy it by mistake. I knocked the great big gigantic 35-pound steel reinforced laptop from Alienware on top of the Dell that I could actually use and get some use out of, and destroyed it. So I pulled the drive out of it. It was already encrypted. Ended up throwing everything away. The drive wouldn't read right, so it all got tossed. And the screen was destroyed. And it would try to boot up, but the drive was gone. Whatever, it's gone. Damn it! So I went to my work. They have this little thing where they will sell you a refurbished laptop that they used at their for one of their employees. Where's my wasp go? Let's see, this is wasp, right? Yeah. That's it. And they sell it to you at a discount. And it comes with Windows 7, so I've got a Windows machine again. Wow, it's a monster. All right, so we got wasps up here. I'm told I don't see them. Whoa. All right. Well, those were just 2 places that the wasps absolutely love. Those 2 spots. Now I didn't see anything up there this time, but I got a report that that's where they were. So go ahead and spray it since I can't see shit anyway. All right. Anyway, this thing, it's a decent little laptop. It's the smallest, thinnest little laptop I've ever owned. It's a 5. God damn it! Can we clean up this garage a little bit? It's a T430S. Now I have a T430 at work. I also have a T520 or a W520. But the T430 at work is what I thought I was buying, but I accidentally bought a T430S, which is roughly the same computer with 4 cores instead of 8, and it's half as thick. So it's twice as thin, however you want to word it, and the screen's not quite as good. But it was under $400 for it, and a little warranty, and it's immaculate. I mean, I got it. I expected it to have scratches or crap stuck in the keyboard. No, it looks like a brand new laptop. Everything on it works. Already trying to get Windows configured. I forgot how long it takes to get Windows configured. My God. I mean, you got to find all the software you want to get, and I had to find a reader, and the old reader that I was using before no longer has a rate. I like to speed up the reader so it reads more quickly, and the one that I used before lost a bunch of features. I don't know what they did, but it's a new version, and it's like they just went in and got rid of 3/4 of the features of that software. So now it'll read to me, but I've got to go. So I've got to go through that rigmarole again and find another reader, one that'll work for me. It has has speed settings, rate settings. What else? It came with a thing called 360 security or something like that. It's supposed to be the virus check and all that stuff. I've tried reading up on it, and it's not malware. That's about as all I can get. I mean, the only place I can find any information on it is the people who wrote it, and that usually means it's malware. But I've talked to some people. They said no, it's all right. It's a real thing. It's just kind of cheesy, but it works. And it's like, okay. So I might have to uninstall that and find a better virus protector. I haven't had to worry about viruses in so damn long. It does have 8 gigs of RAM, so for under $400. So yeah, you know, that's not a bad deal right there. So I can run virtual machine on it, and that's what I just installed here recently. It'll do the 64-bit virtual machine, VirtualBox, and I run Linux on that, and that is my video editor. It's Kdenlive, because I know Kdenlive, and there's another one, I can't remember the name of it offhand. OpenShot, that's what it is. There's Kdenlive, between Kdenlive and OpenShot, those are my two go-to video editors. I wish I could use, Blender. I wish I could use Blender, but the problem is, Blender looks awesome, except I watched a video on how to create text in Blender, and it takes you 30 minutes. You got a 3D model. There's no way to do it. You have to 3D model it. It's easier. Oh. Normally they've been flying really low, so I wanted to go take a look. Landed really low. Coming in for landing really low lately. I don't know why. Anyway, Blender looks really cool, and it is cross-platform, and it has all the same settings cross-platform, which is awesome. The main problem I have with it is it just is not set up for consumers. It's set up for professionals, and I'm not a professional. I'm a consumer. I want to be able to just throw some text on the page. I want to be able to bunt a bunch of stuff together from different sources. Like the camera I'm shooting right now is 24 frames a second. So you got to go in and do math to get the frames to line up, and you've got to tell it how many frames are in your goddamn project in Blender. And it's like, no, that's 1980s. I'm not even going to consider that. If it's asking me how many frames about anything, I'm done with it. Okay, I'm a consumer. I'm not a professional. That's beyond that's one of my litmus tests for a video editor, is if it ever asks me for frames per second, other than what do you want your output to be in frames per second, I'm done with it. And Kdenlive and OpenShot, you drop your thing in and you have an output, and it just adjusts everything to your output. So you say, this is the output I want to use. I want it 30 frames per second. I want it this resolution, and it just takes whatever you have and matches it to that somehow, and I'm good with that. I'm fine. That, you know. So you know, I'm having to go fight for Windows. I swear to God, the only video editor that I can find that is truly free, that will do what I want it to do and just kind of throw stuff together in Windows, that doesn't have watermarks or any of that crap, is Microsoft Movie Maker in the extended pack. And I hate that. I do not like the way it edits videos. It doesn't have a true timeline. Well, that's all it has is a timeline. It doesn't have I don't know what they call it, where you have the multiple tracks or multiple channels or whatever you call it. It doesn't do that. It has one channel, and you have to put everything on that, and you kind of overlap, and you can do little mini transitions, and it does text, and it does a lot better than a lot of the programs. Honestly, when people ask me what program that I recommend for video editing, it's like Microsoft Movie Maker. Start there, and when you find you can't accept what it does, you're on your own, because if you need something beyond that, then you can go find it. But get your feet wet with Microsoft Movie Maker. And if anybody asks me in Linux, I say OpenShot. That seems to be the easiest one, where you can just drop stuff in and get stuff edited and make text, and it does text as well. But anyway, it takes 5 times longer to set up a Windows machine than it does and I still don't have disk compression. I mean encryption. The old program that I used to use a million years ago no longer exists. So I'm going through the list of, you know, what's an encryption software for Windows, and there's like one. And if I ever decide to go with it, I'll let you know what that is. I mean, I have the virtual machine on the system. I encrypted that, and I'm looking back at it now like that was a mistake because it runs really slow when you encrypt the virtual machine. I did not know this until, of course, I did it because I'd never done it before. I never bothered encrypting it because the hard drive was always encrypted before. So that's another thing I had to go deal with is the encryption because everything needs to be encrypted nowadays. You want the looky-loos kicked out. You don't want, I mean, full drive encryption. If you write your own full drive encryption, even the NSA has a hard time crashing it. The only reason they don't have a problem with all the existing encryption out there is because they put a knife to the people's throats and say, you give us a back door or else, and you know, or we'll make it look like an accident, and that's what happens. They don't get, you don't get, and I'm not the only one who knows this. I mean, it's all over Slashdot. It's all over, it's all over every program, every web page in the world. You know, the Americans don't want anybody to have encryption but them, and then you talk to the Russians like, well, the Russians don't want anybody to have encryption but them. Chinese, bingo. So it's just ridiculous. The whole concept of backdoors is flawed because if one person knows the back door, then a lot of people know the back doors. If the good guys have it, the bad guys will have it pretty soon. And it's just an arms race at that point, who has whose back doors. So encryption is bullshit, but it does keep the looky-loos out. And if somebody steals your laptop and they just want to go poke around and see what they can find, encryption will stop them from doing that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If I'll find something and I'll talk about it on the blog. The fence fell down. I put up a video of me going and propping it back up. Well, it's on the ground now. I gave up trying to prop it back up. We're trying to find a contractor to go in and just go in and assess the fence. If any of it's savable, save it. But I want concrete. The real problem is the dirt in the back of my house slopes down because, of course, I'm the last house on the list. So all of the posts are just sunk into this crappy fake topsoil stuff that they throw on the ground. Only go down, yay far, and they just don't stand up when the wind blows. So what I want is either posts that go down further or more concrete on all the posts or something. Maybe even metal posts on the corners. I know something that'll hold those posts up and keep them from falling over. But it's going to be a little while. God, all it takes is money, right?